All right, we're live. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday evening, and we are working on Chapter 8, Harmless Whim from Practical Work on Self. I believe Alka last week suggested that we stay one more week doing the exercises for this chapter, and I don't see her. So, where is she?
I'm going to text her and see. Yeah.
Well, she didn't do it, so she didn't show up. And we were supposed to work on it one more week. And did you?
A little bit, but I have to confess, I didn't work on it. It wasn't in the forefront of my mind throughout the whole week. But
You're the teacher, man.
Was I? I was. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. I take my lead from you. So since you didn't do it, I didn't do it either.
Well, David, you know the sleeping machine better than I do, so.
That's good. Uh, well, we could just do,
But
yeah,
if anyone has
go
something that
for it.
happened through the week, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, 1 second.
My proposition is let's go to the next chapter and read it.
Yes, but before that, if anyone has something that they would like to share that happened
Okay,
in this week, let's do that a little bit first.
yes, please.
Yeah, one thing I noted is, like my own mood was not very great this last week, and there were episodes where I was feeling down. So I noted that if I just even put like a fake smile on myself, and then it changes things. It changes the mood also.
Why?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good question.
Let's digest. The next chapter is pretty short, I think. Doesn't
Yes.
so we have enough time, but let's dig into that a little bit. Anybody can answer. Why did when Nishant just faked and he's depressed or down or whatever it is, and then he puts on a smile and it helped?
Because there is a connection. There's a very sound connection between the position of the body, the position of the mouth. You can fake it, and it helps to change the mood, even if you are not in the mood. So the song "Smile, la da da da, smile, la da 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 da." Da, 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 da,
And the
da, da,
whole
da.
world smiles with
Yeah, yes, that. It's a connection between the body and the mood. Vice versa, also, of course.
anybody else.
I read it a long time ago that having just smiling a little bit changes the internal chemical or emotional state
Which
of,
is what Bernie's saying, right?
right. So that tells
So
that kind of, you go ahead, Nishan.
no, I felt like there was some connection with the essence, with the smile. It
Except, well,
overcame the machine, the negativity. The machine is throwing out all this negativity, and if you can just even put a fake smile, it could makes a connection with the essence.
I love what you're saying, Nishan, because this is a similar thing which happens to me when I have a scrunched up face. Every time I notice that my face is tensed, I just smile and automatically there's something from inside which just comes out. It just connects with your body, basically. That's what I realized.
What is it?
And now that he said, it feels that that would be essence if you want to term it, but I'm still not sure. But I just saw that there's some connection between the inner self and the body, and that just
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
But so, first of all, you notice that you're in a down or depressive mood, right?
Yes.
Okay. What's that called?
That could be
Observation.
oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
self-observation, right? Where does
Mhm.
that come from? The essential self. So the self you're observing. So not only did you observe it, and you could have left it at that, but then you made another decision. You go, it sounds stupid to me, but I'm just going to smile. That's a conscious action. See what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yes.
So you invoke your consciousness of presence and attention, even though the whole mood of depression is on you. From out of that darkness, you said, I'm noticing this umbrella. I'm going to do something. And I'm going to do something. So there's the observation of it. Most people that have depression, they don't even notice it, or they just say, "Oh, that's just how it is," and they
Yeah.
ride the depression.
Identification, right?
You're breaking the identification at that moment, Nishan.
Mm.
Because part of the machine loves being depressed. Depression, self-pity, poor old me, the world, the world. Part of us loves that.
Yeah, machine loves to be miserable.
Yeah.
It's the quality.
I also noticed that even the smile was mechanical. Like, despite knowing that, okay, you observed that the face was blah, blah, the first thing that happened was a smile came in. So, so what I noticed was that I don't know if it's the mind or the body, but basically the smile felt mechanical too, in a way, but it still brought out something deep inside.
Well, when you're in that kind of a depressive mood, it's almost by necessity the smile is
Mm.
mechanical, right?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause you don't feel like smiling, you're just depressed and you go, okay. My point is that you're breaking the backbone of identification with your love of being depressed in this case. Okay. I'm I'm not trying to evaluate anybody or do anything psychological. I'm just saying you're breaking its backbone. That'll be the bomb goes off in a couple of minutes. but see, even though it seems now, I just started to smile. You observe, and what I guess I'm trying to do, thing that's very important for me is for us to acknowledge our wakefulness. So automatically, your essential self said, wait a minute, I'm under this umbrella of depression. Interesting. And if you had just stayed there, that would have been sufficient unto itself. Okay.
And that is true. So what you were saying is exactly that state, and that is what brings a smile to you.
And then you go, in
Yeah.
addition to that, I'm going to smile, you
Yeah.
know. and then I'll show that bastard, or whatever. So I was in the supermarket the other day at Briar Patch, and somebody who I met through this Bhagavad Gita class, which I'm probably going to drop. But anyway, so I'm just shopping away, right? Picking up my tomatoes and potatoes and just the things I like. Okay. Um, and I didn't know this, but she was in the store at the same time. She walks up to me and says, "Wow, so you really are happy." Because it wasn't anybody I was performing for. I was just digging grapes, right? Or potatoes. So she noticed that, right? So that's in her. And as Spinoza says, the free man, as it were, goes about his life in delight. So let us get to delight, let us delight in this gift of human primate incarnation. Pretty cool. So Nishant was being creative there, he had enough presence and attention to say, I noticed this and I'm going to try something. I'm going to just smile. And the biggest thing of that is that it broke the backbone of identification. It's complicated, but well, you guys have all read HPM, so you understand. But it's like you break the backbone of identification. I am not that, but it's happening. I acknowledge it. And then he said, but that's not where I want to live either. Right? He could feel the mood and he goes, ain't for me. And he goes. So I know it's a small thing. I appreciate you sharing it. You sound very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes. One other thing I noticed that I felt was more important. I actually, there was some work calls were going on and it just went on longer than my tolerance. And, I just was losing it. So I came out of the room and my son was playing something and I just got mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was getting mad at him, I was noticing that, okay, this is, just going the wrong way now. Um,
I
but,
love you laugh. I'm sorry when I laugh because I know at the moment it's a very serious thing. It's very difficult, it's complex, but it's also to me, it's just the machine doing its crazy stuff,
yeah,
you
it's a
know.
reaction. And after that was over, I just felt so bad. I was just feeling extremely bad. And then next day, like whole night, I was just, like something was going on as if it's processing something.
Mm.
Um, and then next day, I realized the difference. I somehow it realized. Osho always used to say that the difference between being and becoming is like, oh, we are supposed to be, not become. Um, and somehow it realized to me, I said, why am I mad at him? I have been mad at him before also. And most of the time I'm mad at him because he's not doing something, like he's like just maybe he's wasting his time in watching some YouTube
Yeah,
and
your son. You're
not,
talking about your
not,
son now.
yeah, not being
Not
productive.
Osho. Not Osho.
Yeah. Yeah, my son, that he's not being productive, and he's wasting his time, and how will he progress, and
Oh my
all
God.
that mechanical,
Terrible,
thing.
terrible. He could be out there making some money right now. Gee.
Right, exactly. Yeah, this is, and that's when I realized that his being is important than his becoming. Just he being is here around is more important than anything he will be achieving in life.
So
Um,
you guys are reading the ABD, right? Still? Yeah.
Yes,
And are you in this particular cycle, where are you?
15th chamber.
15th. Okay. Way down the road is the high 40s, okay? Just before you finished. And that's choosing a womb. Do you guys remember that at all? The
Yes.
concept of consciously attempting to
so-
choose a proper womb. Your son somehow, Nishant, selected a womb that brought him to a household such that he has a father that is working diligently on his spiritual self and is working his ass off in the real world as a physician. So the guy had a lot of skill to get there, right?
I mean, he, he's a smart guy, but I just don't. I just feel like sometimes I feel, but yes, that thing is broken now. That's how I feel. I
So
feel very relaxed after that.
no, it's not broken. Your relationship with him is never going to be, in fact, never broken for infinity.
No, that thought process in my mind, that mechanical thought process that he needs to be doing something,
Ah, got it.
otherwise he's wasting his, yeah.
So does
That,
anybody remember chapter 5? Wait, chapter 6. Remember that way back then, like, 2 chapters ago?
oh, for this one, PWOS.
Chapter, yeah, in pause. It's called Struggle of the Sorcerers. And one of the big concepts within it was the idea of confession. Okay, remember we talked about that, right?
Yes.
And I even asked you guys, is that in the Indian tradition? And doesn't seem to be as. But this work that Nishant did today, particularly the embarrassing action of his anger toward his son, he confessed that to us, right? That was a moment, he was very bare at that moment. We could have judged him not as hard as he has judged himself, but that was a conscious act, and it will free him from some of that mess that he's adopted within his mechanical self. So I appreciate you
Yeah.
sharing the whole process there.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, no, I feel okay to share here because, we all have a same goal. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
I think I was on that same phone call, by the way, and I didn't have a son to yell at though, so anyway.
no, but it also helped me, David,
Yeah,
because it helped me a lot because, with his being, I also give my being more importance than becoming. That oh, we have to do this, that, and what have you. That is not important. The being is important.
being and becoming, as
Yeah.
Osho said, right? We
Yeah, he always used these words, being and becoming.
So,
I never understood.
well, let's talk about it for a second. I'm not pretending to understand his huge volume of literature, okay? But
We always use this concept of that we live in a world of becoming. Like something has to happen, something,
good.
as
That's
I said, that need to be productive and, in that sense, uh,
so
maybe,
we know that we have a spark of the infinite being in us, right? We've talked about that. We
Yes.
know that being is there, but we can't always get to it, can we? Because we need to work on ourselves. And through work on ourselves, we're becoming that which is in us as well.
mm,
I mean, I feel blessed. And I mean, like, part of the reason I'm not a real big fan of the Gita at the moment is it's all, just be non-attached, just non-attached, non-attached, non-attached. Yeah, but I get it because once you're non-attached, then you're part of the infinite. And then you'll know that you're part of the Atman. And then once you know that, none of this matters. Okay, that's pretty cool. But why am I different than Michelle? Why am I so different than Nikhil or Bhavani or we're unique, Swati and we're unique expressions of the Godhead. So in a sense, I want to become the charioteer or that expression that happens to come through the David Franco-ness during this lifetime. Spinoza has this beautiful phrase. He's in his fifth book, which is his last on, and he says that when you get to this perfection of knowledge, he says, you are, as it were, seen through the eyes of God.
nice.
It is nice. So when you're looking at your son just now, Bhavani, it's like God is there. You're giving to see this marvelous being, right? Just alive and crazy. Like my neighbor, oof, boy, she's something else. I was trying to do because I always follow rules, Nikhil. So I was doing the exercise again this week. And so I put the hat on, right? And Denise says, you never wear a hat. You never ever. I said, I always wear a hat, you know. And finally, it was so frustrating for her that she had to take it off my head.
Oh, oh.
Now, she didn't knock it off my head, but, it's fun. I mean, she's a remarkable individual with a heart as, poof, I don't know, big. That's all I can say. Big.
And David, because you mentioned the Bhagavad Gita, somebody had talked about it, that especially in the Gurdjieff term, that we are man number 1 to 4. So to for to understand Gita, it starts when you become man number 5. The entire reading of Gita is starting from man number 5. So the 1, 2, 3 are the regular, right? Like we're either the essence or the mechanical self or the emotional self. And then when you're aware of it, you're the fourth man number 4. But when you become aware of that as well, then you reach a higher state. So that's what somebody had told me about
Well,
Gita, that to get to Gita, you have to understand a base of Gurdjieff, or as what EJ EJ's readings are, right? Like they're pretty in line with the whole.
Very much,
Yeah.
very connected. It's not so much that I love working on Gita. I'm kind of like too many nights with too many things. I've got to cut back on something. And unfortunately, it might have to be that. Yeah, but the Gita is wonderful. I mean, we should all work your way through it at some point. You know, it's very short, but remarkably deep, so that 2,000 years we keep struggling with it. And every great Hindu guru that I've ever worked with has a book on the Gita. It's like, you know, required effort. Write your interpretation of the 18 chapters. You know, which is good. It's really, really wonderful.
Mm. Yeah. I think the man number 5 is that octave? Is it related to the octave?
That aware of octaves as much. I
So
think
as maybe
Rajan might
even
know.
in
Yeah,
Yoga Sutra there is Yam Niyam Asana Pranam and then Pratyahar is 5, right? Number 5.
right.
And then when the cycle changes to Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, so that's 5, the stage man number 5.
Hmm.
I'm not aware of that. Yeah.
Bernie, you know the that work a little bit, right?
Bhagavad Gita, you mean?
No, the cycle of men, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on.
The seven bodies of man, you mean? No. What do you mean?
The Gurdjieffian work,
Oh, yes.
yeah, I mean, Claudio worked on that, I think,
Yes.
a bit. Yeah.
I think I remember reading The Master Game by Ouspensky, and it talked about uh, man, different man
Yeah.
1 versus man 6, and it started with mechanical man and then emotional. Uh, so it might be related to that as well.
Yeah, well, the
Speaking in terms
master
of,
game is the ROP.
oh, I'm sorry, that's the Rob. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one that I have read the most, like over and over again, is Man's Possible Evolution by P.D. Ouspensky.
Yeah.
So that is the basic book, and I've just read that a couple of times, so
Good. Thank you.
that like that details out the man number.
Okay. So it would be an interesting and I think of value for us to study something like that, like the Gita or Master Game, Man's Possible Evolution, but do it specifically to see how it weaves EJ's studies into it. You know what I mean? I mean, that's an effort on its own. There'd be another way to do a class instead of like, we're just going to do this book. Do a book and we can, EJ's writing, in my opinion, is the next level. I think he took the fourth way to the next level. And he stood on the shoulders of the Gurdjieffians, etc. But it'd be interesting. I do that unconsciously. I think as I'm studying the Gita, I'm self-awareness and so on and so forth.
It's
Anyway,
beautiful, like how you read EJ stuff and you see Ouspensky, and they're so parallel even in their words. Sometimes the way they chop you off, in a way that, oh, what are you talking about? You can't even remember which foot you put your, which foot you put down, getting down to bed, and you're saying, I'm aware. Like the way he talks about it was amazing. So it reminds me pretty much of what EJ says, a lot of times.
Yeah. Oh boy.
There is, at least in my view, the difficulties in in throwing too many paths or teachers at a time is that you can become like a parrot. You say what was that said, and you of course you understand the connection between, because the wording is similar, no? But there is some problem with that, at least in my case.
No, no, you're right. There's the Zen parable. It says the man who chases two rabbits will catch neither, will catch none.
Yes.
And that's so true, because what I realized is that whatever the base, what you've studied on, that is what stays with you. So then that branches out. And I think that's what the learning should be, right? Like for David, it's EJ's book. So for him, that is the source. And then everything that he reads would branch down back to that, so that source basically. So just hold on to that one source, which is so true, rather
Yeah.
than holding too many.
Yeah.
I was privileged to be present once in a situation that a master was receiving a seeker of the truth, as you usually say, and he came and presented himself to the teacher, and he started saying, I have studied with Lama Fla and with the Spanking and he said maybe 6 or 7 teachers, and this teacher made a silence and said, ironically, but compassionately, he said, okay, but what did you learn? Because
There's
uh,
there's a great Zen Roshi story that I actually heard from a Roshi when I was at the Naropa Institute doing a class, and this guy was a rock, right? When he said, "Okay, we're going to meditate now for 2 hours," he just rock. Ay, ay, ay. But he said this story about this one. This is Tianan. He says this story. He said this Roshi, when a student would come to the school, he would give the student a koan, right? A koan to study. And then every morning you had to go into the chamber and tell the Roshi the answer. If you got it a day ago, then next morning you're supposed to get up and here's the answer. And so the Roshi would allow, he'd let some students come in and maybe they'd sit down and start talking. And then he'd ring the bell. Go. Some people he would ring the bell as they came into the room. But then his biggest student comes in, the smartest, the scholar, right? He comes in and his was well, I'm forgetting the name of the koan, but it's nothingness. The koan of I'll remember it later. But anyway, it's what is nothingness? What is the void? And he started speaking very elegantly about it, on and on and on. And the Roshi just allowed him to go on and on. And he gets up and the Roshi says, keep going, keep going. And he gets up and he gets the Kisako stick. Do you know what that is? The Kisako stick is what you hit the meditators with on their acupressure point to give them more energy. So the Roshi's walking behind this guy, and then he just starts beating the heck out of him with a stick. boom, boom, boom. And the student goes, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me?" And he says, "If you knew the void, where did that come from?" So we're not done until we're done.
Mm.
Until that moment, we're just, I don't like to say we're beginners because you've got, I call us what's called in American trade would be a journeyman. You're experienced, but not a master. Okay. And so, which means we have to work, but we have a long way to go, which is kind of cool, right? Isn't that nice?
By any chance, that was that teacher Indian who
No,
beat the
this was
shit
a
out?
Japanese. They're tough too. Well, they all are. You know that.
Yeah, when they're hitting their students, they're mostly Zen masters.
Right. Wham, wham, wham. And I've been through there was a 3 day meditation. I mean, it wasn't that hard. It was, but where it wasn't the master, it was the head student came around with a soccer stick and basically asked if you wanted it because it would release that 10 penta, and I did, I did. And you have to, if you're going to do it properly, if it's actually hard to do. It's a very narrow stick and it just curved just a little bit. And if you hit it just right, it does hit that acupressure point that's here, those, and it does release that energy. It doesn't hurt. So,
At some point, uh, I heard EJ saying, all books are the same books. You know, they're all trying to say the same thing. We were discussing about different teachers having way too many different ideas.
well, Arjun is sitting there and, and Krishna is saying, "Come on, dude, you're the big warrior here. Go kill those guys." And Arjuna says, "Forget it. Those are my cousins." Then begins an enormous conversation. But he was speaking at that time. EJ is speaking today. So he's modifying the language so we can use it in the 21st century of the world. By necessity, the ideas must be objectively the same.
With David, one of the hardest things in the beginning was to acknowledge the machine as a machine.
I mean, where is that? That's like chapter, I mean, didn't we have it in here?
Yes.
Elka, are you there?
I am so sorry I got late.
Oh, that's okay. But okay, we can start now.
We've been waiting for you.
No. Welcome. Welcome. That's one of the hardest things that comes up in many, many classes is like, once you actually acknowledge the existence of the machine as a mechanical thing, that's huge. Okay. It's a huge thing. That's like a huge step on the path. Has nothing to do with changing the machine, but the beginning of changing your relationship to it. Okay. I mean, we're pretty happy we have a machine, right? I mean, I wouldn't be here. You know, we have a machine and it allows us to work, but it ain't the boss. That's the only thing. We just don't always remember that. So Michelle's sinking to the floor. She's- So, okay, Nikhil, you're the teacher here. What are we supposed to do?
The first thing that I'll start is I'll nominate somebody for next week's class. And I would like to nominate Bhavini, if you're willing, to teach next chapter, chapter 9, One Small Habit.
Okay.
Do you want to give us any direction right now, Bhavani, or should we just wait till next week? Or
Yeah.
I just want to say even when we were doing the exercise, 30-day exercise thing, where we gather evidence, uh, the direct, indirect, and hearsay evidence to observe the machine. Even during that time, uh, it was it was very difficult uh, to recognize the machine for what it was, because to some extent the machine was studying the machine itself.
well, that's the whole point. It isn't. But isn't that why we're supposed to keep journals?
Yes, yeah, I still have it. Yep. But those data points were like, okay, so that's not me. That's just the machine in action. So that helped a little bit in creating a bridge to kind of get away from the machine and then see it for what it is without any judgment or uh, identification.
Okay.
It helps, but it's still hard to get rid of it, to let go of
Very,
those
very hard. Yeah.
and guilt also.
Okay, so before we move on to the next chapter, maybe we'll start with the next chapter next Monday, as per Bhavini's suggestions. Does anybody has anything that they would like to share uh, for this week?
You mean the week that just passed?
Hmm. The exercise for the week, harmless swim.
Yeah, we have to ask Alka, right? I think Alka was.
No, I didn't. I
Um,
tried and I thought about it a few times. So when I was in Bangalore, outside, I realized that I looked so strange anyway that I didn't have the courage to do anything more. Um, and when I'm at home, I realize that I'm always doing something that's so strange that I don't know what more can I do.
You- Well, that's pretty interesting.
Is that a confession?
Yeah,
Ye-
that's a kind of a confession because at home I'm always doing something weird. And one day I thought maybe I'll wear my clothes upside down to kind of evoke a reaction from my mom. But when I went down, she was wearing her clothes upside down. So I was like, just let it be. It's fine. It's just fine.
I think you were put in the exact right house.
Yes, yes. So,
So, Bhavini, do you have any instructions for us, or is it too soon?
So, could you guide me what I'm supposed to? I wanted to ask you that.
Well, I would rather not give you any guidance. I would rather you do it your own way, the way you want to do it.
Well, what's her job?
That's my question. So,
Yes, so,
so I know that we were passing it on as
yes,
the teacher role, right? Is that the one?
yes. So for every ch other chapter, we are passing on the role of teacher to somebody new, and uh, they they teach us.
Remember the chapter when we discussed the Sly Man?
Yes.
And that the Sly Man puts themselves in a position, if they don't know something, they put themselves in a position to teach it. And so it forces you to be in a different position with regards to the chapter. So think of it as just being a guide, guiding us through the chapter.
And I think everyone who has taught so far have approached the chapter in their own way, and it's been completely different. So there are no rules as to what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. Just do it your way.
Just the chapter One Small Habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's a pretty short chapter. Uh,
Maybe we can read it before the next meeting, or maybe not.
You
you
mean,
see,
Yeah. I
so
think
that's
just
the instruction?
at the top of my head, the moment I talk of one small habit, the first thing that comes up to me is the cell phone. Yeah. So I was thinking, for me, I don't know if others would like to follow suit, but maybe we could try how long we can stay without the cell phone or
oh my
something.
goodness.
I don't know.
Oh,
But
that's a
yeah,
good
But for sure, read the chapter.
yeah, I'll surely read the chapter and I'll see how I
But
approach it.
should we read the chapter before coming on next week?
Yeah, I mean, if everyone could read the chapter, that would be great, and then we could have our own insight on it.
Okay, well, we'll read the chapter and see if I have any little habits. Might not have any. No small little habits. Nothing, no habits.
Like the good ones or the bad ones?
Hey, who's asking you?
Basically,
Oh,
that's a state of I am that. So,
that's good. Rudy said that for most people, the book should be called Practical Work on Others. So I am,
Easier that way.
that's good. That's good. I am that.
But I guess we have a few minutes left. Let's land this plane. Uh, before we head out, does anybody has anything that they would like to say? Anything that they would like to share?
Hmm.
All right, so I guess then we are coming back next Monday and we are all reading One Small Habit once.
We will have,
Yep, we will have read.
are we supposed to memorize the entire chapter?
no,
Bhavin?
Any
I can just breeze through it. That's it.
Just read through it. Okay. All right. I'm just
All
trying to
right.
get it clear
Yeah,
here.
yeah. This is not related to this, but is anyone coming for the gathering? Like, are there any other people adding on or not?
That's a difficult question. I am really scared because the flight is 24 hours. That's the reason why I am really doubting it. And I don't have anyone from India coming in with me. If there was someone, then I could have just come. But no. That's so far.
Mhm.
I mean, that's as of now.
Right. Are you coming again, Bhavani?
Yeah, I'm coming, and I know that Nishant is coming, but I wasn't sure if Swati or Nikhil or anyone, you know.
Swati is coming. Swati's going.
Oh, she finalized? Nice.
Yeah, because her parents are also there. So she said that after they go, she'd like to come, or she was saying something on the lines, maybe she wants to get them to the gathering. But she's going.
Bring everybody. Bring your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Nikhil, can I have 1 minute to share
Yes, sir.
the last? Yes, because I have been looking for around. It's a 38th chamber. It's a very not too long chamber from the ABD, but I think it's I think it's one of the most important in this line. It says there are many individuals who aren't interested in liberation and meet this teaching with disinterest. They only want to create suffering around them because they are suffering through existence, and they don't know how to make the efforts necessary to liberate themselves. They may prefer to wander in the sexual dimensions rather than face the simple and terrifying reality of the pure, shining, clear light. And this is the important part for me, at least. And so they develop minds which will keep them from confronting or even knowing about this. So they keep their confusions solid by creating for themselves psychosis, insanities, drives, urges, aberrations, confusions,
Yeah.
necessities, significances, purposes, goals, aims, needs, and problems. In this way, they keep themselves too busy trying to handle all of that to be able to think about or remember the situation as it really is. All the effort to become awake is simply another of those mind games designed to maintain sleep. It continues, but I wanted to share that because sometimes I think in my life there is a lot of things that I am doing and having plans and a lot of things that are all right in this proactive uh, culture that we are living. We need to earn money and whatever, but there are a lot of things that we do, I think, just to not to remember what the situation really is. So that is what I wanted to share, no?
Thank
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming in. See you guys next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.